Paramount is digging up our childhoods, and this time, they've found something different. Not a reboot, not a spinoff, but a sequel 25 years in the making. A writer named Adam Papa, known for some of the best cartoons of the 2000s, quietly updated his LinkedIn, and on it, a single earth-shattering title, Jimmy Neutron, Adult Genius. Yeah, it's real, or at least it's in development. And this one title changes everything. This isn't Boy Genius anymore. This is Jimmy as a 36-year-old man, and that simple premise opens a Pandora's box of questions. What does a 36-year-old boy genius even look like? Is he a well-adjusted, successful scientist, or is he a cautionary tale? A man-child still living in Retroville, polishing his Nobel Prize, wondering where it all went wrong. We're not just guessing. The answer to what this movie must be about, the only story that makes any sense, has been hiding in plain sight for 2 decades. It was left for us in the season 2 finale, an episode so big, so ambitious, it felt more like a movie. An episode that left behind a web of loose ends so dangerous they can only be solved by an adult genius. The new movie isn't just a sequel, it's a reckoning, and it all revolves around a corrupt intergalactic game show that almost ended the world. So what does it mean to be an adult genius? For Jimmy, it probably means he's peaked. This is a kid who invented time travel, warp drives, and sentient nanobots before he was a teenager. Where do you go from there? The world of 36-year-old Jimmy is likely one of crushing mundanity. He's a guy who saved the world a dozen times, and his reward was, what, a 9-to-5 job at a tech firm he probably owns but is bored by. Does he still hang out with Carl and Jean? The bio for the rumored film says it picks up 25 years later, with Jimmy still acting like a boy genius. That one line paints a bleak picture. It's the portrait of a prodigy who never grew up, a man who can solve any cosmic problem but is hopelessly lost in the complexities of adult life. And what about the rest of the game? Is Carl still obsessed with llamas, or did he channel that into a successful, if bizarre, veterinarian career? Is Cindy Vortex a high-powered journalist who still holds a candle for him? And more importantly, where the hell is Sheen? We'll get to that. This version of Jimmy, the adult genius, is a man defined by his past. He's a nostalgia act, even to himself.
What are you doing?
I'm walking here. You got a problem with that skateboard, boy?
He needs a problem, not a my robot is on a rampage problem. He needs a real, grown-up problem. A problem so big, so personal, that it forces him to finally reconcile the boy and the genius. He needs a problem that isn't from Earth at all. And to find that, we have to look back at the single most ambitious and most overlooked episode in the entire series. It was called Win, Lose, and Kaboom. And it's not just an episode, it's the entire blueprint for the new movie. It starts with rocks falling from space, but they aren't meteors, they're invitations. An invitation to an intergalactic game show called Intergalactic Showdown, where winners get a pile of treasures and the losers, well, their planet gets vaporized. Classic game show stakes. The episode reveals that Earth has been invited many times before, but our ancestors, in their wisdom, kept destroying the invitation rocks. Jimmy, being Jimmy, decides to accept. He, along with Carl, Sheen, Cindy, and Libby, are beamed up to a colossal space station to compete against 3 other alien races: the warrior-like Gorloks, the hyper-intelligent Brains, and the Needleheads. The whole thing is hosted by a slick, charismatic alien named Meldar. The episode is massive. It's a 60-minute special that introduces more new characters, alien races, and cosmic lore than the rest of the series combined. It feels like a backdoor pilot, a setup for something much bigger. Jimmy's team, through a series of chaotic and improbable events, manages to win. They save Earth, get the treasure, and all is well. But if you watch that episode back as an adult, you realize something is deeply wrong with that game show. It is not a friendly competition, it's a setup. Win, Lose, and Kaboom presents itself as this wacky adventure, but the entire premise is horrifying. This isn't just a game, it's a culling, a planet-ending contest run by a single all-powerful host. And the more you look at it, the more the entire thing falls apart. Think about it. Who funds the intergalactic showdown? Who built the technology to broadcast it across the galaxy? Who sends the invitations? The episode introduces Meldar, the host, and explains that he controls the entire game with his high-powered cufflinks, but it never explains where he got them. It never explains who he works for either. The entire thing is full of corruption. We learn from April the Gorlock that the games are completely rigged. Meldar just picks who he wants to win. This isn't a fair fight. It's a spectacle put on for an unseen audience. The audience we do see, if you pause the episode, you'll see everyone is there. Yokians from the first movie, Twonkies, even the race of T from the League of Villains episode. This game show isn't a secret. It's the glue holding the entire galactic community together. A corrupt, terrifying glue. And how did Jimmy win? Did he outsmart the system? No. He won because his dad, Hugh, had spent weeks watching Space Cable, a new service he'd accidentally ordered. Hugh's binge watching gave him the hyper-specific random knowledge to answer the final impossible question. Jimmy didn't win because he was a genius. He won because of a fluke. A 1 in a billion chance. The system almost failed, and you can bet the people who run that system have spent the last 25 years making sure that never happens again. Meldar was just a host. He wasn't the power. At the end of the episode, the real power, those reality-bending cufflinks, were handed over to someone far, far more dangerous. This is the real key. At the end of Win, Lose, and Kaboom, Meldar is defeated. And who takes control? April the Gorlock. A member of a warrior race bent on conquering, she gets the cufflinks. She gets control of the showdown. She even makes Meldar her personal power-drained servant. To seal their new alliance, Jimmy and April make a Gorlockian seal of trust. They're friends. We even see them sending space mail to each other at the end of the episode. How? Who knows? But what happens when the mail stops? What happens when that seal of trust gets broken? This is the perfect setup for adult genius. It's been 25 years. What has April, a conquering warrior, been doing with technology that can teleport planets, create black holes, and rig the fate of the galaxy? She hasn't been sitting idle. She's been building her power. She's been perfecting the game. She's been waiting. A 36-year-old Jimmy isn't just a washed-up prodigy. He's a loose end. He's the one person in the universe who beat the system. And now, April is coming to collect. The inciting incident of this new movie is clear. April the Gorlock, now the all-powerful, undisputed Empress of Intergalactic Showdown, claims that Jimmy broke the seal of trust. She's not just coming for him, she's coming for his entire planet. And this time, there's no game to be played, Jimmy. Earth is scheduled for demolition. But a Gorlock invasion, while epic, is still missing one crucial, ultra-lord-obsessed piece of the puzzle. And his absence is the single biggest plot hole in the Neutron universe. Where the heck is Sheen? This is the question that has haunted the fandom. In 2010, Sheen got his own spinoff, Planet Sheen. In the first episode, he borrows Jimmy's new rocket, flies into space, and crashes on a distant planet called Xenu. The show ran for 26 episodes, and in its finale, Banana, Sheen gets lost in space, seemingly never to return. The show wasn't a ratings hit, and it was quietly canceled, leaving Sheen's fate completely unresolved. You cannot tell an adult genius story without Sheen. He's 1/3 of the trio. And a 36-year-old Jimmy would be haunted by this. It's his greatest failure. His technology, his rocket, lost his best friend. For years, there were plans for a Sheen rescue mission special, but it never happened. This is the personal, emotional core of the new movie. Jimmy isn't just fighting to save the world. He's fighting to save his friend.
You disappoint me, Jimmy.
And what if it's all connected? What if Sheen isn't just lost? What if his crash on Xenu wasn't an accident? Think about it. A kid from Earth is suddenly teleported to a random alien planet, just like in the Intergalactic Showdown. What if Xenu is just another planet in the Showdown's system? What if Sheen has been a prisoner or maybe even a gladiator in April the Gorlock's empire for the last 2 decades? What if he's been waiting for Jimmy to find him? Suddenly, it all clicks into place, doesn't it? The plot, the villain, the personal stakes, and there's even evidence the new writer is perfect for this exact kind of story. Think about it. Adam Papa, his track record is exactly what this project needs. Yes, he wrote for the Lego Movie 4D and Box Trolls, but his early work is the real clue. He was a writer for My Gym Partner's A Monkey, and more importantly, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Foster's is the key. That show, more than any other in its era, perfectly balanced childlike innocence with surprisingly mature situation.
That's it! I've had enough of your fibbing and false accusations, Master Beauregard. From now on, no more TV, no more video games, and no more... what else do you like?
I like paddleball.
No more paddleball!
It was a show about kids, but it was really about deeper themes: abandonment, jealousy, the pain of growing up, and the fear of being forgotten. It was funny and colorful, but it had a real, beating, and often melancholy heart. That is exactly the tone Jimmy Neutron Adult Genius needs. It needs a writer who can look at this ridiculous high-concept world and find the human emotional truth. A writer who can handle themes of adult regret, a stalled life, and a friendship broken by time and space, all while making a "gotta blast" joke land. Papa isn't just a random name. He is, quite possibly, the only writer who can pull this off. So what's the real story of Jimmy Neutron Adult Genius? I don't think it'll be a cash grab. It's not a simple nostalgia trip either. This could be one of the darkest Jimmy Neutron properties we've ever seen. It's the story of a 36-year-old man trapped by the legacy of his own childhood who is finally forced to grow up. He's not just fighting aliens, he's fighting his own past. He has to save Sheen, the friend he failed. He has to confront April, the friend who became a tyrant, and he has to face the consequences of win, lose, and kaboom. That episode wasn't a finale. If you look deeper, it was a prologue. It was the inciting incident for a 25-year-long story. And now, the real intergalactic showdown is about to begin. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy what you heard here, consider subscribing. On this channel, DHN Animated, will be focused on the world of animation, mixed with a little bit of nostalgia. We all know that's why we love animated movies and TV shows, because they remind us of a more simpler time. So if you feel the way I feel about animation, make sure you hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe. Till then, I'll see you in the next one.